Ready for a dose of real power? Get set to meet the most fearless, uncompromising, and devilishly smart woman in K-dramas. From the dark revenge in The Glory to the palace intrigues in Empress Ki, these heroines don't ask for permission, they take control. And if you think you've seen it all, just wait until you find out what Jiwoo from My Name has done. But it's not just a story of revenge or intrigue. These characters prove that female strength in K-dramas has a million shades. Some fight with the grace of a ballerina, others with the fury of a lion, and yet others manipulate with the precision of a surgeon. Curious to know their secrets? Because if you think you've seen it all, trust me, you definitely want to stick around till the end. Let's be honest, there's no shortage of strong female characters in K-dramas. Korean screenwriters know how to create heroines so impactful that they stay in your memory for years. When I started researching for this video, I had a list of 43 dramas within minutes. Brilliant, complex, unconventional women, no cliches, no boredom, full of life, emotion, and fire in their eyes. And that's where a little problem came up. I had to narrow it down to just 8. The choice was so tough, I almost had to flip a coin. But don't worry, I promise. Each of these women is absolutely unique and deserves her spot in this ranking. First up, Yoon Ji-woo from My Name. For me, she's the ultimate symbol of female power in K-dramas. When I think of determination and uncompromising resolve, she's the first one that comes to mind. Her desire for revenge over her father's death isn't just a spark, it's a raging fire consuming her from within, leaving her no room to breathe. After her father's brutal murder, Ji-woo's world falls apart. She loses everything she loved and believed in. Her life becomes one monumental goal, to find the killer and exact justice. But not the kind of justice the system hands out. She wants blood, and she'll stop at nothing to get it. To achieve this, she dives headfirst into the darkest corners of the criminal underworld, joining the Donghyun organization led by the enigmatic Choa Mujin. Han So-hee as Ji-woo is an acting tour de force. The girl we knew from romantic dramas has gone through a complete transformation. Grueling training, stunt scenes, My Name proved she's a diamond with many facets. Her evolution into a ruthless killing machine was praised by viewers and critics worldwide. The series My Name soared to the top of Netflix like a missile, with global viewership rankings skyrocketing. Ji-woo's story is an emotional roller coaster with tension thicker than tar and plot twists that turn your brain inside out. Will Ji-woo succeed? Will revenge quench the fire in her heart? Or will the price be too high? One thing is certain, you won't find this level of determination, strength, and character in any other K-drama heroine. But wait, is strength only about fighting in blood? Absolutely not! Let's see how revenge can be refined and as cold as a knife in the back. It's time for the queen of intelligence and scheming. If you think revenge is hot and impulsive, meet Moon Dong-yoon from The Glory. She's a master of cold calculation who has elevated payback into a flawless art form. Her story isn't about getting even, it's a wrenching portrait of trauma, iron resolve, and the strength of a woman who said enough to being a victim. Dong-yoon's school days were a waking nightmare. Brutal bullying at the hands of Park Yeon-jin and her gang took everything from her health, her dreams, her faith in humanity. It destroyed her completely, turning into someone who knows no mercy and never forgets a wrong. She had no help, she had no one, but she had time. Time to devise a revenge plan that would grind her tormentors to dust. Years later, she returns, not as a shadow of her former self, but as the architect of her own revolution. She infiltrates her enemies' lives with surgical precision. Every move is a masterfully crafted blow. She doesn't raise her voice or throw punches. Her weapons are her mind, her patience, and her ironclad determination. At the most unexpected moment, she shatters her tormentors' world, leaving them terrified of their own reflections. Song Hye-kyo is an absolute revelation in this role. Subtle, icy, seething with pain and fury she doesn't need to shout. One look, one smile, and it's like the apocalypse is coming. It's the performance of her career, rich in emotion hidden behind a facade of stone-cold composure. The Glory isn't just another run-of-the-mill revenge story, it's a deep dissection of trauma and a brutal truth about what happens when justice sleeps the sleep of the righteous. The scenes of school violence hit with the force of a knockout punch, the psychological torture tears your soul apart, and the years of unhealed wounds bleed out on screen. The Glory isn't just about a strong woman, it shows how systematic violence creates monsters. The series conquered the world in a blink of an eye, leaving viewers stunned and enthralled. There are no easy answers here, no black and white line between good and evil, only Moon Dong-yoon, whose eyes speak more than 1,000 words. Will her revenge bring her peace? Or maybe peace was never the point? One thing's for sure, The Glory is a story you won't forget, and Moon Dong-yoon is a character who will forever send shivers of both unease and admiration down your spine. But enough about dark vengeance, it's time for a heroine that proves that strength can have the flavor of madness and the color of a full moon. Brace yourselves for a wild ride because Ko Moon-young from It's Okay to Not Be Okay is one of a kind. She's like an exotic flower, stunningly beautiful but deadly dangerous. She hypnotizes, attracts, fascinates, and can wound you in a way you'll never forget. Her smile is as enigmatic as the Sphinx, and her gaze cuts through you like a razor's edge. She's dark and radiant at the same time, both beautiful and unsettling, cold as ice yet heartbreakingly vulnerable. Moon-young writes children's stories, but forget about any sugary princesses waiting for a prince. Her tales are brutally honest, heavy with symbolism, and darkness as thick as tar, just like she is. Her words are bullets that pierce straight through the heart. She knows no censorship. She detests limits. She speaks her mind. She does what she wants. And if anyone dares to oppose her, well, they better run because Moon-young won't hesitate for a second to reveal her true devilish side. But beneath that icy queen facade is a woman who's been fighting to survive since childhood, the mother. She grew up in the toxic shadow of a mother who treated her like a puppet in some sick play about perfection. Moon-young never learned how to love because, to her, love was synonymous with control and paralyzing fear. And then he appears, Moon Gang-tae, calm and steady as a rock, a composed caregiver who bears his own deep wound. He isn't afraid of her sharp words. He sees right through her facade, broken, terrified, yet still capable of love. Their relationship is a collision of two forces of nature, tempestuous, destructive, full of tension, yet at the same time, as healing as magic. Seo Ye-ji is a pure genius in this role. Her performance is mesmerizing, like a spell. Her portrayal of Moon-young is as unpredictable as April weather, intense to the limit, yet as fragile as a porcelain doll. She's not just another cold femme fatale. She's a woman who had to be tough her entire life, or she wouldn't have survived. It's Okay to Not Be Okay breaks every cliche from the inside out. It doesn't idealize love, sugarcoat mental wounds, or offer easy answers for happiness. It's a story about how we all carry scars, and how the way we accept them defines our true, unshakable strength. Will Ko Moon-young ever find peace? Will she dare to be loved and be loved? Or will fear and trauma prove stronger? One thing is certain, you won't find a heroine like her in any other K-drama. And now, stepping away from a realm of fantasy and darkness, we enter a world of real danger. An epidemic, isolation, and a woman who isn't afraid to look fear right in the eye. In a world overwhelmed by panic, she's an oasis of calm. When the street's empty and people lock themselves away in concrete cages, only a few have the courage to face the danger. Yoon Se-bum from Happiness doesn't hesitate, doesn't doubt, doesn't run, she acts. As an elite police officer, Se-bum lives on the front lines. Risk is her bread and butter. She's not afraid of firearms, she doesn't tremble before danger, but helplessness paralyzes her. She's not the type of heroine who waits for a prince on a white horse. She is the knight in shining armor, charging to save others. When a mysterious epidemic turns people into bloodthirsty beasts and traps the residents of a modern apartment complex into a lethal cage, Se-bum becomes their last line of defense. What makes Se-bum so extraordinary? It's not just her steely muscles and police instinct, it's her unshakable resolve, lightning-fast mind, and boundless loyalty to those she loves. In a world where everyone's out for themselves, she's ready to sacrifice everything to save others. Se-bum isn't an angel without flaws. She makes mistakes, but can admit them and learn from them. That's what makes her more human, more believable, more heroic. But even the toughest character has limits. Locked in a concrete prison with people who, in their panic, become worse than any monster, Se-bum fights not only the zombie horde at the door, but also her own demons. How far would you go to survive? Can you still trust anyone in the hell of isolation? In this madness, is there any spark of humanity left to save? Han Hyo-ju is electrifying in this role. Her character is as tough as a solid rock wall, yet she's not devoid of emotion. She's strong, but not cold. There's a blazing fire of determination and compassion burning within her. She's a woman whose gaze speaks louder than 1,000 words, fiery with anger one moment, resolute to protect those she loves the next. Every move is as precise as the executioner's strike, every word carefully chosen. Happiness is more than just another cliched apocalypse thriller. It's a chillingly realistic story of people who, when facing annihilation, drop their masks and reveal their true, often terrifying, selves. It's a brutal lesson about survival instincts, the razor-thin line of humanity, and who the real monster is in a lockdown world. Will Yoon Se-bum save her loved ones? In a world where anyone could be the enemy, is there anyone left to trust? One thing is certain, if you think Happiness is just another zombie flick, this show will knock that idea out of your head for good. It's a story that'll latch onto your memory like a tick and force you to reflect on what it really means to be human. Enough about fear and survival. Time to meet a true queen, not officially crowned, but forged in iron and fire. Let's enter the realm of palace intrigue and meet Empress Ki. Forget battle cries and sword fights. In a world where women are often just pawns in a man's power game, she climbed her way to the very top. Ki Seong-nyang from Empress Ki is a heroine whose strength doesn't lie in brute force, but in a mind as sharp as a blade, unyielding determination, and strategy as perfect as a battle plan. She doesn't beg for power, she takes it. From slave to empress, from an obscure girl in the provinces to a legend who changed the course of history. Seong-nyang was born a woman in the subjugated kingdom of Goryeo, where her fate seemed sealed. She was supposed to serve, remain silent, and never lift her head. But she, a girl snatched into captivity, burned with an ambition that nothing could extinguish. When betrayal and intrigue shattered her world into a million pieces, she refused to break. Escaping her captors and living as a man, she turned her pain into a weapon. With each failure, she grew stronger, like steel forged in fire, and every humiliation brought her closer to her goal. Even in the palace of her enemy, serving as a maid, she never lost her fighting spirit, patiently waiting for her chance. Ki Seong-nyang is no damsel in distress waiting for a prince on white horse. She's the player who deals the cards. She's a warrior through and through, familiar with the taste of battle dust. She's a politician with a strategist mind, outsmarting men by staying one step ahead. She's an empress who builds her own empire in a man's world. Landing in the snake pit and scorpion nest that is the Yuan imperial court, where every smile hides betrayal, Seong-nyang must be more than a mere pawn in this bloody game of power. She becomes the player who changes the rules. But power is never handed over for free. Will her loyalty to the fallen kingdom of Goryeo allow her to rule the Yuan Empire? Will the revenge she carries in her heart like a ticking bomb become her greatest weakness? Will her love for two men, King Gwangyu and Emperor Tongfun Temur, be the driving force that propels her forward, or the pitfall that leads to her downfall? Ha Ji-won delivers an absolute masterpiece in this role. Her Ki Seong-nyang is as hard as diamond, unbreakable, magnetic, and brimming with charisma. Her gaze can either chill your blood or spark the flames of rebellion. In one moment, she's as delicate as a rose petal. In the next, she's as merciless as a guillotine's blade. She's not just a heroine you admire, she's a heroine you believe. Empress Ki is an epic historical saga with the grandeur of Game of Thrones, but at the heart of this tale beats the pulse of boundless female power. It's a story of courage, sacrifice, and the price one must pay for power. Will Seong-nyang win her deadly game of chess, or will she become a casualty of her own ambition? One thing's for certain, you've never seen a heroine like this before. And now, from palace intrigues, we return to the modern era, where justice is pursued by a woman unafraid to take on the whole system. Meet Hong Cha-young from Vincenzo. Time for fire and dynamite. Hong Cha-young from Vincenzo is a woman who doesn't bother with subtlety. In a world of corrupt lawyers and merciless corporations, she strikes exactly where it hurts the most. Sure, Vincenzo might wear Armani suits and have mafia connections, but she is the spark that ignites displays of justice. At the start of her career, Cha-young works for Woo-sang, one of the country's most powerfully and morally bankrupt law firms. She's laser-sharp, shameless to the edge of decency, and knows the dirty rules of the game inside out. She's aware that the law is often just a facade, and that justice is a commodity that goes to whoever can manipulate it best. But when her father, the last righteous lawyer in town, is killed by the Babel Corporation, everything changes. She transforms from a lawyer defending the richest and most ruthless into a champion of the people, fighting for those the system wants to crush like bugs. Her metamorphosis is one of the show's strongest moments. She doesn't cry, doesn't bend, doesn't run. She strikes back with the fury of a typhoon. She enters a dangerous alliance with Vincenzo Cassano, an Italian mafia consigliere, and together they form an explosive duo that can't be stopped. When Vincenzo works from the shadows like a grand puppeteer, she storms the stage, lighting the flames of rebellion. When he spins intricate schemes, she charges straight ahead like a battering ram. She's as brilliant as lightning, as feisty as a piranha, and can strike with words as hard as others strike with their fists. Jeon Yeobin is pure energy in this role. Her Cha-young is a volcano of life, full of passion, yet unpredictable and slightly unhinged. She can make you laugh until you cry one moment, then freeze you with a Medusa-like glare the next. She's like a storm, a force of nature that can't be tamed. Vincenzo took the world by storm, and Hong Cha-young became an icon of female strength and resilience. Jeon Yeobin won the Best Actress Award at the Asian Contents Award for this role, proving her performance is pure acting gold. The chemistry between her and Vincenzo electrified the screens, and viewers fell in love with their dynamic relationship, powered not by romance, but by mutual respect and a shared mission. Will Cha-young defeat the Babel Corporation? Will she declare war on the entire corrupt system? How far will she go in her battle for justice? In a world where every victory has its price, is there still room for her? One thing's for sure, if you think you've seen strong female characters before, Hong Cha-young will show you what a true queen looks like in a world of liars and cheats. And now, let's leave the realm of law and corporations behind for a moment and head to a magical, extraordinary place, Hotel de Luna, ruled by a woman with a 1,000-year history. Time for a breath of magic and a dash of fantasy. Jang Man-woo from Hotel de Luna couldn't care less about ghosts, deaths, or men's egos. She's the queen of her own kingdom, literally. Eccentric, commanding, and as unpredictable as tropical weather, she's been ruling a hotel for the dead for over 1,000 years, and her legend shows no signs of fading. She's trapped in this luxurious prison for sins of the past that haunt her like a shadow. She's not a sweet fairy tale princess, doesn't seek redemption, and doesn't beg for mercy. Jang Man-woo lives by her own rules. Basking in luxury, surrounded by opulence, yet inside, she's confined to a gilded cage of her past. Her gaze is as sharp and cold as ice, both beautiful and dangerous. Her smile conceals dark secrets, and her heart bears scars invisible to even the keenest eye. She's strong because she's unyielding as an oak. She's strong because she refuses to let anyone dictate her terms. Jang Man-woo is a woman full of contradictions. She can be as merciless as a demoness, yet as caring as Mother Teresa. She can hold onto anger for centuries, but when she loves, she does so with her entire immortal heart. She loathes being controlled, yet she loves to rule and command others. Her wit can be as cutting as a guillotine, her decisions as impulsive as a volcanic eruption, but one thing's for sure, you can't ignore her. Lee Ji-yoon created a cult classic character, an icon of style and charisma. Her Jang Man-woo isn't just about stunning outfits and magnetic looks, she's a heroine who wears her pain like the finest jewelry, showing that female strength can have 1,000 faces. This isn't just a character you admire, it's one you cannot forget. Will Man-woo finally find peace after 1,000 years of rage? Will revenge prove stronger than love? Will she open her heart and allow someone to get close? One thing is certain, in a world of spirits and unfinished stories, she shines the brightest, like a diamond in the darkness. Now for the finale of our list, a heroine who's coming back from a hellish place to serve justice where the law has failed. It's time for Judge Kang Bit-na from the Judge from Hell. Here she is, Kang Bit-na from the Judge from Hell. A judge more terrifying than the verdict itself. Can justice taste like the fires of hell? Kang Bit-na, sharp as a diamond, ruthless and incorruptible, knows the law better than the devil knows the code of sins. For years, she was a symbol of integrity, an unflinching lioness of justice who never hesitated to sentence the most powerful wrongdoers. But one night, everything turns into a nightmare. Instead of standing in a courtroom soaked with the sweat of the guilty, she awakens in hell. Judged not for her own sins, but for the crimes of those whom earthly justice failed to catch, Bit-na receives an offer she can't refuse, a return to the world of the living to punish those who escaped the judicial guillotine. There's just one small catch. She's not coming back alone. Something dark awakens inside her, something from the depths of hell that whispers in her ear. Justice doesn't always have to be legal. Now, she's both an angel of vengeance and an executioner in one body. With every sentence she passes, every punishment she inflicts, the thin line between justice and bloody revenge blurs in the darkness. Is Bit-na still human, or has she become the very monster she once sought to judge? Her last hope for salvation is Detective Han Da-eun, but can a man who believes in the letter of the law stop a woman for whom the law died that night in hell? The Judge from Hell isn't just a dark thriller straight from the underworld. It's a harrowing tale of a woman who returned from the abyss not to beg for justice, but to serve it with her own devilish hand. Will Bit-na defeat her demons? Will she choose the path of the law, or ultimately become the hellish judge herself? One thing is certain, no one is beyond her reach. And finally, a little bonus. Not a K-drama, but a series that simply must be mentioned when talking about strong women in Asian productions. Get ready for an explosion of power and determination. It's time for the heroines of Alice in Borderland. The women in the series are the very definition of strong character, determination, and total independence. Ryohei Usagi, fearless, physically adept, ready to survive under any conditions. Her instinct and speed made her one of the deadliest characters in this life-or-death game. Hikari Kuina fights not just with her body, but with her mind. She has a painful past, but refuses to let it define her. Her strength is born into her inner transformation and the resolve never to break. Kuina proves that true power isn't just about muscles, it's about loyalty to yourself and to those you love. Anne Rizuna, an analytical mind and nerves of steel. While others rely on instincts, Anne calmly analyzes the situation, seeking answers where everyone else sees only chaos. She doesn't need weapons to win. Her greatest strength is her intellect and a Sherlock Holmes-level gift for deduction. Mira Kana, an antagonist whose smile is deadlier than any blade. She manipulates, controls, burrows into your mind, and flips it upside down. A woman who proves that true strength is the power to rule over minds. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Alice in Borderland is a treasure trove of brilliant female characters, each deserving her own documentary. Alice in Borderland doesn't have a single weakly written character. Each one is multidimensional, full of personality, and ready to fight to the last drop of blood. It's a textbook example of how to craft strong heroines in an action and fantasy productions, and it shows that female strength in Asian cinematography isn't just a fad or a trend, it's a true phenomenon that's captivating viewers all around the world. Now, returning to K-dramas and summing up our exhilarating tour of indomitable heroines. Indomitable, inspiring, unforgettable, forever. That's exactly what K-drama heroines are like. They don't wait for a knight in shining armor because they themselves are an unstoppable force. Korean dramas have shown us that the power of women can take thousands of forms, from subtle determination to the whirlwind of relentless strength. They don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be nice, they just have to be real. And one thing is certain, you'll never forget them. If, after all that intensity, you're in the mood for something lighter but just as captivating, be sure to check out my video featuring the most romantic and heartwarming K-dramas. It's the perfect pick for your next binge. What about you? Which of these heroines left the biggest impression on you? Is there someone you think must be on this list? Let me know in the comments. Let's create together a list of the most inspiring female characters in K-dramas. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more powerful K-drama content.